Everyone thought that he was a lonely salaryman, but he gets transported into another world with unlimited magical powers. Liam was an average salaryman in a dead-end job who ends up dozing off at work, but when he wakes up, he finds himself in a totally different world with nobles and high-class people having a drink while a maid tries to wake him up. He is utterly confused at this and wonders whether this is all a dream, but the maid keeps telling him that he should greet the guests for the party. Even more confused now, Liam spots a mirror, and when he looks in it, he is shocked to see the reflection of a young boy staring back at him instead of a tired old corporate slave. Suddenly, his dad walks towards him, telling him to stop acting like a weirdo because they have guests over right now. Liam is totally surprised by that, but slowly realizes that he has been transported to a different world where he is the fifth son of a noble family. The party going on right now is for the birth of his sister, since all four of his older siblings are boys. He decides to sleep it off, hoping that he would wake back into the real world. But that doesn't happen as he wakes up still in the child's body. He decides to go out into the balcony where the maid tells him that all the land in front of him belongs to his family. Liam can't believe his eyes as he wonders how rich they actually are, and later he meets up with his older siblings. Bruno, the fourth son of the family, explains that their father and oldest brother are currently trying to serve the nation in some way according to the laws of this country. Every noble family needs to do something which serves the nation, otherwise they will lose their status. Unfortunately, their dumbass father hasn't done anything of importance yet, even though he is in the third generation, which means that if they don't do anything, they will be stripped of their noble status and become commoners. Bruno also tells him that their oldest brother Alb tried becoming a storytime TikToker, but the Sigma King called him a beta bitch, which makes their job to impress the king even harder. Before they can talk more though, and their magic teacher enters the room with a book in his hands. Liam gets insanely excited at the thought of learning magic, but Bruno tells him to calm down since only a very few people manage to perform magic. Liam doesn't give a shit about his pimp of a brother, however, and immediately rushes outside and asks the maid to show him to the library. Inside the library, he finds a bunch of books on magic, so he randomly picks one out. He starts reading the book and tries out a basic fire spell, which to his own surprise, he succeeds in. He manages to make his hand into a stupid candle while the maid congratulates him on his first spell. He immediately goes to meet his father in his study and asks whether he can take out the books from the library. But Liam's father doesn't care about his dumbass fifth child and tells him to do whatever he wants. Liam cusses him out in his mind and leaves with all the books needed. He starts practicing magic every single day in his own room and slowly starts getting better. He starts learning more complex magic, and after a month, he reaches a point where he is able to perform flame magic without even looking at the magic books. Bruno the pimp is really impressed by this, since even the people who manage to learn magic take at least a year to cast the simplest spells without the magic book. He takes the magic book and tries to cast magic on his own, but his pathetic ass can't even cast the simplest of magic even with the books. Bruno hands Liam the book, claiming that he can do great stuff with magic and advance in the society, which Liam doesn't really care about, and heads back to the library to get the ice spell book. While on his way to his room, he ends up getting stopped by his father, who demands to know whether he has learned how to use magic. Liam gets a little nervous and prematurely ejaculates a little bit of ice magic on the book. Liam's father doesn't seem impressed by this and asks whether that's all he could do, but Liam decides to show his brain-rotted father the true limits of his skill, and casts the flame cutter spell without the book, which shocks and impresses his father. He immediately becomes happy and tells Liam to get as many magic books as he wants before leaving. Liam seems happy to know that his father liked him, but on the way into the forest he ends up stumbling upon a man in a white jacket, who asks whether he is from the noble Hamilton family. Liam tells him that he is the fifth son when the man asks whether he is here to capture him. Liam doesn't have any idea what this weird-ass man is talking about, but he doesn't want to get baby oiled by Diddy, so he tries to leave. The man, however, ends up stopping him as he claimed that he can show him a more efficient way to do magic. Liam immediately gets interested, and the man suddenly uses all 5 different elemental magic at once. Liam is shocked to the core by this, and just as impressed as he begs the man to teach him. The man agrees and tells Liam to draw a circle and a square at the same time to make sure he is not dyslexic. After that test, he tells Liam the trick to perform such magic, and to his surprise, Liam manages to use both the flame ball and the flame cutter magic at once. The mysterious man is shocked as this technique can only be performed by 1 in a million people, and he just wanted to flex his skill on a kid. Liam then tries to use 3 different magic spells at once, and even though he manages to succeed, his stamina is too low and his magic powers run out. The man tells him not to worry about it as he will slowly get better, and shows that his current limit is to use 13 spells at once, but he is trying to cast 16 spells at once. Liam is impressed by this, so the man decides to hand him a Samsung Galaxy ring which contains a shit ton of magic books. Liam gets excited by this and tries a wind magic spell which works flawlessly, but when he turns around to thank the man, he mysteriously disappears just like my dad. Suddenly, the maid comes towards Liam, asking whether he is fine, since they have heard that a mysterious man was spotted on their property. Liam lies that he was alone, so the maid hands him a new magic book and tells him to be careful before leaving. Liam wonders what was that about when suddenly the man reappears claiming that he simply made himself invisible. He then looks at the book and tells Liam to try and cast a spell while wearing the galaxy ring. Liam follows the orders and summons a flaming salamander, which immediately gets sucked in by the ring like a pokeball. Liam realizes that he can save any spell he wants in this ring, so he starts summoning as many Pokémons as possible before saving them in his ring. He turns around to thank the man, but he disappears once again with a note telling him to keep his mouth shut. A month passes by after that incident and Liam starts getting better at controlling his magic, as he creates charcoal with the help of his spirits and also some mana crystals. Bruno ends up spotting him in the forest and checks the things that he made and claims that these skills will make him an independent person. After that, this incel happily claims that he is getting married to a low-ranking noble family. But even though they are poorer, Bruno will still have more independence and will also pop his cherry finally. Liam is happy to hear that, but Bruno tells him that he should also start looking for ways to get independence. He explains that before Liam was born, his father really wanted a daughter to marry into the royal family, but his plans failed as Liam was born a boy. Out of desperation, his father collected 1,000 soldiers and launched an attack on the Dragon of the Hills, but even though he managed to seal the monster, he ended up losing 90% of his soldiers. Bruno claims that even though Alb and their father are trying everything desperately, he personally thinks that the Hamilton family is over and Liam should secure his own future. Liam thanks him for the advice and leaves into the city to sell his stuff off and get some money. After getting a fair deal, he gets some lunch at a local noodle shop when he suddenly gets an idea and rushes back to his own home. He enters the kitchen and hands his servants a pack of instant ramen and tells them to try it. The servants are impressed by this new creation, while this capitalistic pig starts thinking about how he can turn this world into America with 50% obesity. He immediately rushes off to sell the instant ramen in the local shops, but they refuse to buy his product since his oldest brother Alb has put a restriction on him from selling his stuff. Liam leaves sadly, while Alb walks out from behind the counter, cursing Liam for being so good at magic. Liam, on the other hand, wonders what he could do now and decides to try something out. He has recently learned a storage box spell which can store a ton of stuff inside and can also teleport it somewhere else. Liam decides to use his magic unconventionally and creates a clone of himself which he sends off to a different kingdom not controlled by the Hamilton family. The clone ends up selling everything and puts all the money back in the storage box, which Liam can easily take out at will. In this way, Liam, the capitalist pig, invented slavery in this new world as well. A couple days pass by as Liam keeps practicing with his own illusions and gets even stronger than before. Suddenly, one day Alb approaches him and claims that he has been hearing a lot of good things about him and asks what he wants to be when he grows up. Liam immediately gets alert since he knows that Alb thinks Liam is trying to become the next family head instead of him, so he simply says that he wants to find a job and earn money. This answer seems to satisfy Alb as he tells Liam that he will introduce him to the Hunters Guild. Liam is really happy about it since he will become an adventurer, this way whose job will be to hunt down monsters. The very next day, he visits the Hunters Guild, and where all the adventurers start mocking him for being a short king. But Liam keeps his head up high and his middle finger higher as he walks up to the guildmaster. The man tells him that even if he is a noble, he can only take the jobs befitting his rank and asks Liam to show him how strong he is by attacking him. The guildmaster clearly underestimates Liam, so Liam decides to go easy on him and shoots some low-level fireballs around him. This shocks every single person in the guild, including the guild master, who claims that with his skills, Liam easily deserves to be a B-ranked adventurer. Soon he leaves the guild with a shiny new badge as he wonders how strong B-ranked adventurers actually are. While walking though, he ends up being stopped by a gold-digging ethot named Osna, who asks whether he is truly a son of the Hamilton family and whether she can join his party. At the end of the day, Liam is still a guy and jugs are jugs, so he agrees like a total simp and heads off into the forest for their first mission. The moment they enter the deep forest though, they immediately come face to face with a giant wolf beast. The furry hoe immediately jumps into action and takes out her knives, when to her surprise, a bunch of other wolves also appear from the bushes, completely surrounding them. Asuna gets worried, but Liam tells her to calm down and busts out his magic Pokémons that the wolves immediately grab between their jaws. Suddenly, though, the Pokémon start swelling up like my wife after marriage, completely incapacitating the poor wolves, after which Asuna makes short work of the beasts. They haul back a huge load of 42 dead wolves, completely shocking everyone including the guildmaster, who immediately hires them for a job. Both Asuna and Liam soon leave for the task at hand, which is to defeat a caterpillar monster which has been blocking a major route of trade. Asuna is pretty happy, but also scared since monsters are much different than normal beasts since they have a magic stone inside of them which gives them immense power and special abilities. Liam, however, is still optimistic, but his optimism changes when he finally finds the caterpillar whose body is basically made out of metal, making all of their attacks completely worthless. Neither physical nor magical attacks seem to work on the giant monster when Liam gets an idea and decides to give it another go. He soon instructs Asuna to act as bait, and once the monster is in position, he takes out his item box and creates a huge boulder, killing the caterpillar immediately. They soon return back to the city, producing not one but 2 dead caterpillars. The guildmaster is shocked, but Liam claims that he simply used his enemy search skill to find the other one as well. The guildmaster is impressed and ends up giving them a huge bonus. A couple of days later, Alb and his father arrive in the city to wait for a very high-ranking person. The man walks out of his carriage towards Liam's father, but takes a quick glance at Liam as well. Liam feels a little uneasy, and his feelings turn right as he is called by the man who asks where did he get the ring he has. It turns out that the mysterious man who taught Liam was a highly skilled mage named Raymond who this man knew from earlier. The old man laughs at this and then tells Liam to attack his servant with as much power as possible since he wants to check his strength. The butler man goes into the corner and stands as Liam charges up 11 attacks at once and hits the servant with a barrage of fireballs, breaking his barrier and hurting him. The jackass old man, however, simply laughs at this, claiming that Liam is already strong enough. He asks Liam what he wants to do when he grows up, and when Liam claims that he wants to be independent, the old man immediately decides to knight him so that he can gain his independence already. After that, one day when Liam was practicing his item box magic, he ends up finding a letter inside which was from Raymond, claiming that he wants to give Liam a graduation gift. He claims that he has put 100 kilograms gold into the lake he just emptied and Liam needs to find a way to get that out. Liam racks his brain for a while, realizing that it couldn't have been gold bars, so he follows his hunch and commands the box to release the gold dust powder, which turns out to be the correct answer. Soon a trapdoor beneath him opens, leading him to a dungeon where he finds a very old magic book and a letter claiming that Raymond was never able to use it, so he is passing it on to Liam in the hopes that he might be able to use it. Liam is overjoyed at this and starts practicing the otherworldly magic spells, but even after trying multiple times, he keeps failing. Several days pass by when finally Liam manages to produce a magic spell from the book named Another World. This creates a magical door which takes him to a different dimension where he can hide himself or anything he wants. He realizes that this spell can have endless possibilities, so he happily continues practicing. Another month passes by when on one of their adventures while fighting against a frog monster, all of Liam's attacks fail as the frog decides to self-destruct, realizing that there is no way out. He quickly creates the door in which he hides alongside Asuna as the frog destroys everything in the area. Asuna realizes that she would have died if not for Liam's magic, which makes her doubt her own strength. They soon recover the magic stone and head back to the guild where the guildmaster is shocked since it wasn't a ranked task. Realizing that Asuna is doubting her skills, the guildmaster suggests that she forms a contract with Liam as his familiar, which is basically a slave which will help her gain levels faster. Asuna, the power-hungry hoe, immediately agrees, and soon the guildmaster goes through with a spell, binding them in a contract. This ends up being very beneficial for her since she gains a unique skill which makes her faster than the Flash. Realizing this, Asuna decides to take Liam over to her friend named Jody, who was a veteran adventurer herself. She decides to enter a contract with Liam as well, and to everyone's surprise, even she ends up getting a unique skill which helps her cure any wound with her cooking. This is basically a miracle, and soon the information about this spreads all over the kingdom. Several days later, the old man invites Liam over for some tea and claims that the Princess Scarlet of their kingdom is very interested to see his slaves perform for her, but Liam refuses, claiming that they are his friends and not in a circus before leaving. The old man immediately apologizes, as it turns out that the princess was disguised as a servant, and watching this young boy defy a princess's order make her even more interested in him. The next day, Liam is called to meet Princess Scarlet, who immediately strikes him as a nasty bitch with a toxic personality. As soon as he finishes giving his greetings, she arranges a chair for him and then tells him to recite the story of how he defeated the giant caterpillars and frogs. Liam is relieved because this is an easy request, and the princess is really impressed that he managed to defeat such powerful monsters without even knowing high-level magic spells. Liam suddenly feels a tent in his pants at the mention of high-level magic spells, but then Scarlet snaps him back to reality, asking about his contract magic. She asks if he can show it to her, and Liam is not going to fold just because this bitch has royal authority. He refuses Scarlet's request, clearly telling her that his friends aren't circus performers. Scarlet suddenly laughs, saying that Liam is indeed an amusing person who entertained her twice. She declares that he will be rewarded for this, and immediately grants him the title of a baron. Liam is bamboozled because he knows that he hasn't done to deserve this promotion, but Scarlet tells him that he made her laugh twice, and that is enough of an accomplishment. She also gifts him a magic book about familiar contract magic, and Liam is truly thrilled to receive it. Later, as he goes to the forest to learn the magic in the book, Bruno comes there to pay him a visit. He gives him some birthday bumps to congratulate him for becoming a noble, and then says that Alb must be cursing himself right now because he helped Liam obtain a higher title than their father. Liam tells Bruno that he still is a baron, which is a lower rank than his father, but Bruno explains that the first-gen nobles who obtain the title by achieving something are considered higher ranking than those who got it handed down to them by their dads. At night, as Liam goes back home, he runs into Alb, who is boiling over with rage and jealousy. He scoffs as he passes Liam, and then swears that he will do something that will show everyone that he is better. The next day, Liam meets up with Asuna and Jody, both of whom start calling him master and asking him to do unholy things to them. This makes all the men in the city jealous, and Liam finds it hard to endure their gazes. So he takes his girls for monster hunting. Jody is an archer who pins down the wolves while Asuna quickly finishes them off. Jody remarks that her eyesight has improved a lot after the contract, and that is a really great thing for an archer. Liam decides to improve her eyesight even further with an enchantment spell, basically turning her eyes into telescopes. She evolves from a mid-ranged archer to a sniper and earnestly thanks Liam for that. Soon, they return to the guild and find that everyone is in a hurry. They ask one man what is happening, and he replies that the dumbass Alb messed up badly. He removed the seal of the powerful monster sealed in their territory, and too many people have gotten seriously injured because of that. Liam immediately realizes that Alb took this foolish step because he was jealous of him, and he runs to the mountains where he sees dozens of injured soldiers, and even Alb is on a stretcher. As soon as he sees Liam, Alm grabs his collar and says that he won't lose to him. But then the guildmaster bonks him and puts him to sleep because he doesn't want to hear another word that comes out of this idiot's mouth. Asuna asks him what are they dealing with, and the guildmaster tells her that decades ago, Liam's great-grandpa sealed a dragon fiend in the mountains, but now Alb has removed the seal. The dragon fiend radon itself is quite weak after being sealed off for such a long time, and the real problem are his offsprings who have hurt all the soldiers. The guildmaster says that he has arranged the people who can reseal the dragon fiend, but as long as they don't deal with the kids first, it won't be possible. Liam and the girls go to where the dragons are, and Asuna charges ahead to deal with the dragon kids that are smaller than she expected. However, their fire breath is really powerful and it can turn a tree into ash within seconds. Liam tells Asuna to get back and then shoots fireballs at the dragon kids, but they counter it. He realizes that they can't win, and the girls suggest that they retreat. Suddenly, the dragon kids charge at them, and Liam gets an idea. He tells the girls to run away as fast as they can, and then summons the magic book to open the door to the pocket dimension right in front of the dragon kids. They dive right into the pocket dimension without thinking about it, and Liam instantly dispels it. The baby dragons disappear with that, and everyone rejoices because they now have a clear chance at victory. As the magicians cast the seal around the dragon, Asuna and Jody ask Liam about the spell he used earlier. He tells them about the spell and how he can store things in a pocket dimension. He says that since he has not completely mastered the spell, the things inside the pocket dimension may vanish, and that means they won't have to worry about the baby dragons. Asuna starts fawning over Liam because of this, when suddenly, he hears a voice calling him. He turns around and finds that it is the dragon fiend Radon who is talking to him. He is shocked and asks how can this happen, but Radon has more important questions for him. He can sense that Liam's body and soul don't match, and he can also read his mind to learn that he is from another world. Liam is still processing this development, but Radon has taken an interest in him. He asks Liam to take him along and show him the kind of future he can create, and assures that he can help him with his power. Liam accepts the proposal because he doesn't get any bad vibes from the dragon. Radon then suddenly turns into mana and enters Liam's body, getting engraved on his hand as a tattoo. Liam can feel energy overflowing from his body, and he immediately gets to test it. He shoots 11 magic missiles without incantation, and when he chants a spell, he can fire 17 of them with perfect control. He is amazed by this, but then he sees all the magicians wheezing and coughing like they forgot their asthma meds this morning. Radon tells Liam to absorb his mana into his body because it is overwhelming the others. Liam does that quickly, and the magicians finally breathe in peace. The guild master thanks him for handling the case so well, and Liam apologizes for the inconvenience his stupid older brother caused for everyone. He decides to make it up to the injured people by donating 10 kilos of gold. Later that night, Liam's dad thanks him for taking care of the mess Alb created. Liam is curious about what will happen to him now, and his dad replies that he will stay under house arrest for the time being, and he will think about his punishment seriously. Liam feels bad for his brother and goes to his room to talk, but doesn't go inside as he hears Alb screaming that it should have been him to revive the Hamilton family and not Liam. Liam realizes that his brother just cared about his family name, and that made him into such a prick. He decides to leave him undisturbed and goes to bed. As he wakes up the next morning, he realizes that he got 2 new exciting spells after forming a contract with Radon. He immediately rushes to the forest to practice them, and after working hard all day, he manages to master just one of the spells. This spell allows him to summon the baby dragon from the pocket dimension, and it is really friendly and obedient now. As the baby dragon is cuddling with Liam, he hears a surprised voice asking if he can do holy magic too. She tells him that she is here for important business. First, she tells Liam that defeating a dragon is a big accomplishment, but the old men in power won't allow her to give him a bigger title than a baron. That is why she is going to grant him the title of a hero candidate, because that will not only help him, but also make the public be at ease. Scarlet then asks Liam to tell her the story of how he defeated the dragon, and he tells her about making a contract with it. This shocks the princess, because now she is certain that Liam can use holy magic, and if that news gets out, it can become a huge burden on him. So she orders him to keep this story a secret from everyone until she says so. Liam has no choice but to agree, but the next morning, he gets the price from the princess for keeping his mouth shut, and it is a treasure chest containing 3,000 gold coins. A couple days later, the old man James comes to see Liam and asks him if he can use holy magic. Liam stutters as he tries to come up with an answer because Princess Scarlet has paid him to stay silent. However, James tells him that the princess is too young and inexperienced to handle such big matters. He says that the amount of money she gifted Liam was enough to make him suspicious. On top of that, Scarlet would normally have reported Liam's achievement of stopping a dragon fiend to her father immediately to get him a promotion, but she did not, which meant she was hiding something. On being pressed by James to reveal the details, Liam finally folds, and he admits that after absorbing the power of the dragon fiend Radon, he got some holy magic spells. James is curious to see them, and Liam uses the all-clear spell that dispels all negative effects from its target, including poisoning and petrification. James is impressed by this, and then decides to give Liam an important history lesson. He begins talking about the War of 3 Dragons that happened many centuries ago. The dragon that could use holy magic won the war, and then it joined a human who could borrow the dragon's holy magic. That human went on to establish a country, and it is the country in which they live. Liam is a bit confused by how this story fits his context, but James asks him what comes to his mind when he hears that the dragon joined a human. This kinky son of a says that he imagined the dragon marrying the human and having children together, but turns out the rest of the humans are the same. They also thought the same thing, but now James believes that it was the other way round. He tells Liam that he absorbed the dragon into his body, therefore joining it. Liam thinks that his words make sense, and James says that he has the potential to recreate the legend of their country's foundation. That also makes the old man worry about two things, the first concerning the Hamilton family. He tells Liam that his great-grandfather got the title of a noble by sealing radon, but in case he turns out to be the dragon that helped in founding their kingdom, this achievement would be immediately taken back, and in the worst case, their noble status would be dissolved. However, that is the smaller problem, because James fears that the dragon may be angry and plotting revenge against their country for being sealed. Liam understands the logic behind that, but then he recalls that when he called Radon a dragon fiend earlier, he calmly told him that he doesn't care about what humans call him because they give him a new title every few centuries. He concludes that Radon isn't angry at the kingdom, and James thinks it is all because of Liam, who properly talked to the dragon and freed him. The next day, as Liam goes to the guild, his Asuna and Jody are eagerly waiting for him. As soon as they see him, they drag him away from the guild because a lot of people are showing interest in him after he defeated the dragon. All of them want to join Liam's party so that he can carry them, and the girls ask him to be careful about letting anyone join the party. That is not all, because as Liam reaches home, he finds a fat stack of Tinder profiles of the girls that want to marry him, or at least their families want them to. Liam is a bit overwhelmed by this, and then Bruno the pimp comes there to marry Liam to his wife's distant cousin. Liam somehow dodges all the marriage offers and goes to Asuna and Jody to show them something special. He takes them to the forest, and they hope he is going to show them his foot-long sausage, but instead, he takes them inside his pocket dimension, which has a house inside it now. He tells them that he got it made from some carpenters in another city and then put it in, and since he has mastered the another world skill, the things in this dimension won't vanish. He then gives the girls a tour of the house and explains what positions they will do at each location. Jody thinks that this place is too bright, and Liam decides to experiment on ways to set the lighting just right. He first summons a shadow spirit that turns the entire dimension pitch black, and then uses a salamander to light up the fireplace for some natural light and warmth. Jody is still not satisfied, but the low-level shade spirit can't control the darkness level. Asuna says that she hopes spirits could evolve like them, and that gives Liam the idea to turn the shade spirit into its familiar. Just as he makes a contract with it, the spirit evolves and gains the ability to talk and manipulate darkness better. It swears its loyalty to Liam for making it evolve into a medium-level spirit, but Liam says that he can't summon him again because he doesn't know the spells for summoning medium-level spirits. The shade spirit tells him to use his ring to store him and then practice till he can summon him freely. Liam likes the idea, and he immediately sucks the spirit inside. Next, he evolves the salamander into Charizard's distant cousin and sucks him inside the ring as well. He then evolves and stores one spirit of each element and obtains the medium-level spirit summoning magic that is incredibly valuable. The next day, Liam goes to the forest because Radon has sent him there on a mission. Suddenly, Radon calls out to him and asks him to summon his kid. Liam does just that, and the baby dragon suddenly takes him to the hidden forest of the fairies. The fairies flee as soon as they see a human, but when Liam tells them that Radon sent him, they start trusting him. Liam has learned from Radon that fairies are in danger of being hunted because their wings are sold for a very high price. That is why the dragon wanted him to protect the fairies in his place by erecting a barrier to hide them, and by giving them names because it is one of the natural magic spells that all humans can do. Liam first uses the familiar contract spell on a fairy and names her Rihanna, which causes her to evolve into an elf. Even Rihanna is surprised because it is a huge jump, and Liam doesn't understand anything about it. Radon tells him that when he named the fairy along with the contract magic, the effect became stronger. He advises Liam to always name creatures he forms a contract with from now on. After seeing one of their sister become an elf, all the fairies are eager to get named by Liam. He names them all as he turns them into his familiars, and soon everyone is an elf. Rihanna acts like their leader and asks Liam how they can serve him as his familiars, and not having any task for them, he simply tells them to build a village and live here. The elves eagerly start planning their village, and Liam feels tired after using too much mana. As he is about to take a rest, he feels a strange magic power deep in the forest. He follows the power's direction and soon finds a magic fruit hanging from a tree. Rihanna comes there and tells him that whenever fairies have free time, they gather the magic in the air and gather it in one place. Radon tells Liam to try it, and he gets permission from Rihanna to eat the fruit. Just as he takes a bite, he feels energy overflowing inside it. He tries shooting some missiles and finds that he can shoot 19 of them at once now. The next day, he visits the elves again, and they eagerly greet him, but all the enthusiasm leaves their body as they show Liam their miserable attempt at building a house. Suddenly, they hear a scream and run to its source to find that some bandits have captured an elf. Liam runs towards them, telling them to leave the girl, but they decide to give him a reality check. One bandit attacks him, but Liam just hits him away with the magic missiles. The other two bandits decide to tag team him, but Liam summons his shadow clone, and their combined attack knocks both the bandits out. Liam then decides to temporarily send the elves into the pocket dimension because the forest is not safe for them. He worries that there is not enough space for them there, but to his surprise, the pocket dimension has expanded because he ate the magic fruit yesterday. He tells the girls to get inside, and then brings them out on his territory so that the bandits can't attack them. The elves are amazed at his abilities, and they kneel before him, begging him to be their king and lead them. They promise to do whatever he wants if he becomes their king, and the pervert decides to take up the offer. While he gives the elves some instant ramen to eat, he begins practicing the other high-level holy spell he got from Radon. It has been 4 days since he started practicing it, but he has not been able to use it even once. Suddenly, he has his eureka moment, and he finally learns how to perform the spell. He gathers the elves around and then uses the newly learned spell, which is actually teleportation magic, to bring them to an isolated patch of land 100 kilometers away from his home. His clone was already waiting for him there, and that was how Liam was able to set this place as his destination for the teleportation magic. He dispels the clone, and then Radon tells him to use the power of his crest on the surrounding area. Just as Liam does that, a seal hiding the true appearance of the land is shattered. The elves are happy to see that they are going to live in a lush forest, and Radon tells Liam that this is one of the locations he sealed. Liam asks the reason for that, but Radon falls silent, so he doesn't pry further. After that, the elf girls get busy finding places to build houses, and Liam practices his teleportation spell to master it. After many tries, he is able to reduce the duration to cast it to 0 seconds. He decides to head back home and leaves the 3 baby dragons to guard the elves. Once he reaches home, he is paid a visit by Scarlet, who asks him if the dragon inside him has mentioned anything about the promised land. Liam says that he has not, but reveals that he has mentioned the sealed lands. He also tells her about the elves, and Scarlet wants to see them. Liam has a favor to ask her before that, and that involves meeting a skilled engineer to help the elves build a village. Scarlet introduces him to a dwarf who is the court engineer, and Liam creates his clone to take him along to the elf village. Once they reach the forest, Scarlet asks Radon if this is the promised land, but he doesn't give a definite answer. Scarlet says that according to legend, when humanity is on the brink of destruction, they will find shelter in the promised land. She takes out a ring that is the key for their salvation, and it resonates with Liam's tattoo. He asks to hold it, and just as he touches it, the island starts to float. There is no doubt in Scarlet's mind now, and she kneels before Liam, swearing loyalty to him because he is the master of the promised land, and requests him to create a country here that will save everyone. Soon after that, the elves start building their village with the help of the dwarf engineer, while Liam goes to eliminate all the monsters in the region. Scarlet eagerly watches him fight the monsters, and Liam asks her if she shouldn't return to the capital now. She tells him that she is going to stay next to him and serve him because he is the master of the promised land. Liam is not so sure about that because it will be a huge political hassle, but Scarlet says that her mother's family is said to have dragon's blood in their veins, and that is why women from her family were often married into the royal family. However, she wants to serve Liam, who contains the holy dragon Radon inside him. On hearing this, Radon tells Liam to take Scarlet to the north because there is something she will like there. They head north and find a stone door that leads them to ancient ruins. As they head down the stairs, they find ancient scriptures painted on the walls and then come face to face with a black dragon statue. The statue suddenly awakens, and Radon tells Liam that it is a guardian golem that is modeled after him. Liam's first task is to defeat the golem, and Radon gives him a hint for that. He says that his name is written on the golem's head in an ancient language, and if he erases one letter, it will turn into another word that means obey. Luckily, Scarlet knows the language, and she tells Liam the exact letter he needs to erase. He teleports near the golem and hits the letter, suddenly turning into Scarlet's obedient pet because of the dragon blood inside her. She decides to stay with the golem for some time, and Liam goes outside. He starts sighing as he thinks how insistent Scarlet is on serving him because he can't get used to it. Suddenly, he sees smoke coming from the direction of the elf village and teleports there, only to find that everything has been reduced to rubble. Rihanna comes running and tells him that the Wolfmen attacked them and destroyed everything, and the Wolfmen tribe come there to face Liam too. The leader calls him a filthy outsider and tells him to leave the Holy Land immediately if he doesn't want to become his family's dinner. Liam tries to talk things through, but the wolf leader pounces on him without giving him a chance. Liam teleports behind him and then hits him with a close-ranged lightning attack to stop him. He then summons a baby dragon to show the wolf leader that he is not a suspicious man. The wolf leader is astonished to see this, and Liam asks him if his tribe has been protecting this region on Radon's orders all this time. He affirms, and then Liam tells him that the elves are also under the dragon's protection. The wolf leader apologizes for attacking the village, but Rihanna tells him that it doesn't matter because they both serve the holy dragon. She suggests the wolves to enter into a contract with Liam and swear loyalty to him, and the entire tribe agrees to that. Liam sees no harm in doing that, and he starts with the leader of the wolves. Just as he casts the familiar contract magic on the leader, she turns into a woman. Liam is shocked to see this because he thought that the leader was a male. But anyway, he names her Chris and then forms a contract with the other wolves. The next day, he finds that the newly evolved werewolves are helping the elves to rebuild the village. Chris runs to hug him as soon as she sees him and then apologizes again for damaging the village. Liam wishes that he had a spell to repair everything magically, and Radon tells him that if he doesn't have a spell like that, he can just create it. Liam gets excited on hearing this, and Radon tells him to clearly imagine the entire process from beginning to the end. Liam focuses hard and comes up with an auto-repair magic that allows items to return to their original state, even if they are damaged. After that, he goes to an isolated area to create more new spells. While he is busy practicing an improved version of fire missiles, Rihanna comes there to inform him about an emergency. A group of human soldiers has entered the area, and they are trying to hunt the fairies for their wings. Liam immediately teleports to the location where the humans were spotted and goes to confront them. The soldiers ask him if he lives here and does he know about the fairies. Liam tells them that this place is his country, and they should not come here without his permission. The soldiers just scoff at him, telling him to narrate that story to his imaginary friends. They try going ahead, so Liam shoots magic missiles to warn them. Despite that, one guy rushes towards him, and Liam just teleports on his horse before blasting him away with a magic missile, and then tells them never to step foot in his country again. With that, he returns to his village, where Rihanna introduces him to the fairies that were living in this region till the humans attacked them. She says that all of them want to form a contract with him, and Liam is flabbergasted as he sees their number. He spends the entire evening coming up with 100 new names while he forms contracts with the fairies and turns them into elves, and all of them become residents of his village. Later, Liam brings Scarlet, Rihanna, and Chris into his house in the Pocket Dimension and shows them the helmet the soldiers were wearing. Scarlet remarks that it is from the Palta Kingdom, which lies next to the Promised Land along with the Kingdom of Jamal, which they belong to, and another country called Quistador. She thinks that the soldiers yesterday were just scouts, and soon more armies will come from the three kingdoms to claim this territory as their own. Liam grows tense on hearing this, and he begins to seriously consider Scarlet's suggestion to build a country here. She tells him that he needs 3 things for a country, that is, land, people, and power. He already has the land, and more people will come as the news about the country spreads. Liam remarks that he needs power, and Chris volunteers to lead the army of werewolves to kill all the intruders who attack them. However, things progress faster than they were expecting, and the next day, a noble from the Jamal Kingdom comes to see Liam on his king's order. He says that Jamal Kingdom doesn't want to fight with Liam, and instead wants to form an alliance with him. For that, the king has offered to marry Princess Scarlet to him. Liam is taken aback to hear this, and though the offer sounds good, he wants to confirm things with Scarlet first. He creates the telepathy spell on the spot so that they can talk without letting others know, and asks if he should take the offer. She tells him that he should, because even if there is a huge political plan behind this offer, the marriage will still help his kingdom greatly. On hearing this, Liam agrees to the noble's offer and says that he will marry the princess, but not immediately. He says that he needs at least 1 year to turn around his tiny nation into a place suitable for Scarlet, and the noble replies that he will convey this message to the king. They leave with that, and both Liam and Scarlet are relieved that the negotiations were successful. After that, Liam sends his clone along with Scarlet so that he can reach her mansion and then teleport him there. Once the clone reaches the mansion, he returns to the village and takes the original Liam to the mansion. Scarlet is there to welcome him, and as they head inside, Liam senses the power of Radon coming from the mansion. He asks Scarlet if there is anything connected to the dragon here, and she leads him straight to the church where a silver statue of Radon is displayed at the altar. Radon is surprised to see that the statue is still around, and Liam asks what is it. The dragon asks him to cast the all-clear spell on it, and just as Liam does that, the statue turns into battle armor and appears around Scarlet's body. She can use holy magic with the armor's help, but she is exhausted after just one pump and the armor turns back into a statue again. Radon tells them that the battle armor was created by him so that humans could use his abilities, and this one was the most powerful one of them. It is also the last remaining one, but Liam says that they can just make new ones now. Radon likes his confidence and tells him the recipe to make the magic armor. Liam uses the help of his spirits to create a small magic statue first, and then asks Scarlet to put her blood on it to form a contract with it. Just as she does that, the statue turns into an armor, and now she can use holy magic without collapsing after just one attack. Radon tells Liam that high-level magic items like this are close to living beings, and that gives him the idea of using familiar magic on it. He forms a contract with the armor and names it Ares, making it lighter and more powerful. Radon tells Liam that he once named one armor on a whim, but he never thought of making it a familiar, and Liam guesses that it is the giant golem. Radon affirms and tells him to try making a contract with it. Liam immediately teleports to the village and drops his blood on the golem, and it becomes a magic armor around him. He feels power rising inside him and shoots 37 power missiles at once, but that completely exhausts him as well. Radon congratulates him because he is only the third person to survive wearing this armor, and if he can master it, he will own the world. Liam uses some mana crystals to recharge his stamina and then asks Scarlet if he can borrow the golem for some time. She tells him that he can keep it as long as he wants, and Liam immediately puts the golem in his item box. He then tells Scarlet that he is going back to the village, and she decides to head back to the capital and keep an eye on what the kingdom is thinking. Liam teleports her back to her mansion and then returns to the village. He sees that the construction of the houses is going well, and the village should be ready within a week. Just then, Rihanna comes running to tell him that they have found that a group of trolls live near their village. Liam has heard about trolls, who are huge muscular monsters, who can either be very violent or very kind. He asks Rihanna which type of trolls did they find, and she replies that they are the violent type. She is worried that humans are going to keep entering this region, and if the trolls pick a fight with them, it will be bad for the rest of them. That is why she asks Liam if he can take the trolls under his wing too, and he likes the idea. He heads towards the direction where the trolls were spotted, and on the way he finds iron ore that can be very useful. Suddenly, the trolls come to confront the intruder, and they ask Liam who the hell is he. He introduces himself and then tells the trolls about the village he is building. He asks them to come live with them, but the leader of the trolls says that they don't trust humans. Liam tries to convince him that he is a good person and has elves and werewolves living with him, but the troll leader doesn't listen to him at all. He tells him to get lost or he will die, and then starts bashing the ground with his heavy club, creating craters with each hit. Liam dodges his strikes, and now he is certain that the trolls are really strong. He doesn't want to fight back, but the troll leader doesn't give him a chance and pushes him into a narrow crack where his feet get stuck. Liam realizes that though the troll leader seems dumb, he had planned this out from the beginning. Now that he has no way to escape, he decides to use the golem armor to protect himself from the heavy blow, and the troll leader is shocked to see him alive. Liam dispels the armor and returns it to the item box, and then tells the troll leader to stop fighting and look at his men first. The troll turns around to find that all of them have pissed their pants because they were also in the range of his previous attack. Thankfully, Liam used the golem armor to create multiple shadow clones who protected the trolls with barrier magic. The troll leader finally understands that Liam is not a bad guy, so he decides to listen to him. Liam begins to wonder if these trolls are really the violent kind, but anyway, he tells them the entire story. He asks the trolls to live in his village so that they can be safe from humans and no fights start needlessly. The troll leader asks him to show them the village first, and Liam immediately teleports all of them to the village. The trolls are astonished by the teleportation spell before anything else, and just then, Chris comes there. As soon as she sees the troll leader, she recognizes him and asks what is he doing here. The troll leader seems to know her too, and he throws the question right back at her. Chris doesn't answer and attacks him without a warning, knocking him to the ground. She starts acting smug and Liam asks her what the hell is going on. She tells him that she thinks that the troll leader is an annoying idiot, so she fights him every time they meet. Liam realizes that they are fighting friends and not enemies. Chris then asks the troll leader when did he become so weak so as to be defeated in just one hit, and Liam tells her that she grew stronger after becoming his familiar. That makes sense to the dumb werewolf, and she tells the troll leader to become one of Liam's familiars too, so that he can become stronger. She manages to convince him pretty easily, and Liam uses the contract magic on the troll as he names him Guy. The troll shrinks in size, but becomes stronger and more intelligent. Chris immediately challenges him to a rematch, and this time, Guy can easily match her speed and strength. The other trolls watch in wonder and say that their boss has turned into a legendary Gigas, and Liam realizes that is the name of the evolved species. He then names all the trolls and causes them to evolve into Gigas, and they all join his village. The next day, Guy and the rest of the evolved trolls carry huge rocks from their base to the village on Liam's orders, but they don't understand why he needs them. He tells them that he is going to take out iron from these rocks and then summons a fire spirit and an earth spirit to do the job. They create a furnace and melt the rocks, and aside from iron, they also get a bit of copper, some gold, and a few nuggets of mithril. Liam, the greedy thinks that he should have got more mithril because then he could mass-produce holy battle armors, but Radon tells him to be happy with what he has because mithril is quite rare. Liam asks if he can't just make magic armor out of iron, and Radon tells him that every armor needs at least some mithril because other metals are not strong enough to hold the power. Liam decides to give it a try anyway, and he makes the earth spirit pour molten iron into a mold before infusing Radon's power in it, and as the mold around it crumples, the armor is revealed to be a statue of the sun. He explains to Radon that if the name given to the armor matches its shape, it should provide better results, and surprisingly, it works. Liam succeeds in creating the first ever holy armor made of only iron. He creates a total of 15 armors after that, and divides them equally among the elves, werewolves, and the Gigas. The next day, as everyone is trying out their new armor, a bunch of bandits arrive there and immediately start talking about how rich they can get by selling the elves. Liam is about to show them their place, but Rihanna asks him to stop because she has got this. She calls a pink-haired elf and whispers something in her ears before sending her to the bandits. The bandits think that she is surrendering to them, but just as their leader tries to grab her, the elf sends him flying with a punch. The other bandits are shocked at this, and they take out their weapons to fight, but the elf girl knocks them out in an instant as well. Liam is moved to see how strong the elves have become with the magic armor, even though they are the weakest species in his village. He thinks that he should make more armor, but then the thought of coming up with new names for all of them drives him crazy. While he is distracted, the bandit leader suddenly appears behind him and takes him hostage, telling everyone to surrender if they want to see this boy live. Everyone collectively shrugs on seeing how stupid the bandit is, and he doesn't even understand why they are acting so carefree. Liam just points his fist at the bandit's chin and knocks him out with a magic missile, scaring the crap out of the rest of the bandits. Later, Liam goes to his pocket dimension and summons a bunch of water spirits there. He asks them if they can separate salt from seawater, and then put it back into his item box, and they agree. He immediately starts pouring the seawater stored in his item box, and the water spirits begin separating it. Liam notices one of them is not working and asks if she didn't understand the instructions, but she informs him that she was the first water spirit he formed a familiar contract with, causing her to evolve. She tells him that because of that, she has become smarter and more capable than other spirits. She boasts that she is learning how to possess things in the real world, but the Spirit King scolds her when she overdoes it. Liam asks her what does she mean, and she explains that strong spirits can possess objects permanently, and they can lend their power to weapons and magic items. Liam is curious to try out this ability of hers, but before that, he decides to make her more powerful. He names the water spirit Zero, and she starts feeling the increase in her abilities. Liam then summons a fire and earth spirit to create a metal statue of the water spirit and asks her to possess it. The spirit does it easily, and by doing that, Liam manages to create a water element magic armor. The next day, he gives the prototype elemental magic armors to Renee, Chris and Guy, and they can use the power of the spirits inside them. They are really excited because this new set of armor is even stronger than the one he gave them yesterday. Liam thinks that his prototypes are a success, and with a few more of these armors, he can protect his nation. However, Radon knows that he is underestimating himself, because even right now, he has enough power to go to war with other nations. After a couple days, Liam returns back to his hometown where his Asuna from doing their quests. Liam decides to do them one better and gives them a part of the money that Scarlet paid him to keep Radon's existence a secret. The girls are intimidated by such a huge amount of money, but they decide to keep it. They immediately go shopping with the money, and instead of buying something for themselves, these beta simp thoughts buy a gift for Liam, who has a ton of money. They buy the only available magic book in the entire city, and Liam learns a new spell from it. He thanks the two girls and then takes them to an inn, where he reveals that he is building a country. They are shocked to hear this, and when Liam invites them to live with him, he feels that they will refuse. However, his are willing to follow him to the end of the world. They are ready to start the journey immediately, but Liam says he will master the new spell he learned from the magic book first. He casts the spell called Dust Box, and a black box appears in front of him. He spams the spell to reach the peak. He decides to test it out. He tells and it can hold things according to the spell user's mana. And when he takes it out, it starts smelling like his dad's socks. Liam realizes that this spell spoils, and Asuna gets excited to hear him say that it can be useful in some special cases. However, he doesn't know how carrying a bottle of wine. Liam immediately chases after her and gets a bottle of freshly squeezed grape juice. He decides to add some yeast to it, and then places it in the dust box for 5 minutes. When he takes it out, it has become wine, and Liam realizes that his guess was right, and this box can ferment things quickly. He begins thinking about how else can he use it, but before that, he decides to test out the relation between time and fermentation. He puts 10 bottles of grape juice into the dust box at 1-hour intervals, and then calls Jody to do the taste test because she just looks young and is actually a veteran hunter. Jody starts with the bottle that was in the dust box for 1 hour and moves up one by one to the bottle that was there for 10 full hours. Jody finishes her assessment and says that the 1-hour bottle tastes like 1-year-old wine. Liam concludes that 1 hour in the dust box is equal to 1 year. After that, he takes Asuna and Jody to his village, and they are astonished to see 3 different races working under him. They bond with each other quickly and throw a party at night, and start his alcohol brand. As always, Guy and Chris start competing with each other, then he falls sound asleep. After seeing all this, Jody did because they know that vampires can't come out in the sun. However, Jody knows more than all of them combined. They wonder if they should fight the vampire army, but they also start to warn them. But it is pointless because the vampires had already taken over some villages by that time. An illusion. He tells Liam that his attacks won't hurt him because he is already dead, and he can regenerate infinitely because of the life force around him. He tells Liam that the fight is over and then pounces on him, but Liam has finally got the way to defeat him. He quickly summons the dust box and traps Dracula inside it. No matter how hard, Liam thinks that living things can't be placed inside the dust box, but since Dracula claimed to be already dead, he can be put in there. He decides to see how long can Dracula hold out in a place where there is no life force, and it takes a full 10 hours before the dust box shows any progress. At night, the dust box tells Liam that Dracula has entered a state of suspended, where Asuna and Jody are glad to see that he is unharmed. His influence. They are sitting still on the floor, not even making a sound. Asuna says that they suddenly stopped moving a while ago, so she figured out that Dracula had been defeated. She takes Liam to one of the former vampires, and Liam thinks that this means that all of them are free from Dracula's control, when suddenly, some of them start screaming in pain as magic energy is released from their body. Liam doesn't understand what the hell is going on, and Radon explains that all the people here were turned into vampires using Dracula's power. Now that he has been defeated, they are not receiving any power for him, and their bodies are starting to disintegrate. Liam was able to use Evolve Troll earlier. He tries it out on a vampire, who turns into a normal goblin within seconds. Liam is hopeful that he can save everyone now, so he begins casting the holy spell on all the vampires in sight, turning them normal. However, there are more people suffering than he can help, and he starts panicking. Radon tells him to calm down and reminds him that he modifies the purification spell to increase its range and casts the spell over all the vampires. A blinding light fills the valley as everyone is cured of Dracula's dark powers, but Liam has used up too much energy, and he collapses right as the magic armor vanishes. When he wakes up an hour later, Asuna lashes at him for being reckless, but he is not in the mood for her by Dracula's power, and she points towards them, showing Liam that they are perfectly fine now. Just then, Chris and Rihanna also come running to check up on Liam, and he tells them that he is fine. He then asks Rihanna to gather all the original vampires because he has to talk to them. Soon, the vampires stand in front of Liam, and he is surprised because there are not even 20 of them in total. The oldest vampire, Steppel. He is ready to accept the responsibility for what happened today and give his life, but Liam tells him that there is no need for that. He says that since they were all being controlled by Dracula, it is not their fault. After that, he offers the vampires to join his village and promises that he will make it possible for them to move during the day. The vampires are taken aback by his offer, and Liam ensures them that he is not like Dracula. He then tells the vampires that if they want to join his village, they will have to follow 2 rules. The first rule is to do what he says because he Loki dreams of being a dictator, and the second rule is not to cause trouble with other residents of the village. The vampires gladly accept the offer, and Liam starts turning them into his familiars. This time, he has made some changes to the familiar contract magic so that he can decide the direction in which they evolve. He uses the advanced spell to turn the vampires into high vampires who don't get destroyed by sunlight. 4 days after that incident, Dracula, who had been rotting inside the dust box, finally vanishes, and Liam finally dispels his dust box that was lying in the middle of the forest. Meanwhile, a noble from a neighboring country sees the video footage of Liam and Dracula fighting. He initially planned to use Dracula as an excuse to send his army into the forest and claim the land. But now he is more curious and afraid of Liam. He asks his assistant to find as much information he can about him, because only then can they take action. On the other hand, Liam's village has grown significantly after the incident with Dracula. The tens of thousands of creatures that were displayed by the incident became his familiars, and now his village has expanded enough to be called a city. As he is inspecting the construction work with his pet slimes one afternoon, Guy comes to inform him that some merchants from the country of Quistador want to meet with the king of this land. Liam says that he is not really a king, but everyone in the village disagrees with him. They say that he is the only one who can be their king and start cheering his name. On hearing this, Radon comes out and officially declares that he recognizes Liam as the king of this land and country. A few days after that, Liam visits Princess Scarlet, who tells him that she has been investigating the intentions of the king and other ministers about the promised land. She has found nothing helpful, but she is sure that the kingdom is hiding something. They are still deeply interested in the promised land, and she believes that there is something they want hidden there. Liam thanks her for the information and then returns to the village, where he asks Radon if he knows what the kingdom is looking for. Radon just gives him a hint, saying that he left the dragon golem to protect the thing, and Liam immediately teleports to the ruins where he found the golem. Radon then tells him to fill the room with his magic power, and on doing so, an underground staircase appears right in the middle of the floor. Liam follows the stairs and comes to a room with mystic ruins carved on the walls. He gets a feeling that it is a storage device just like his magic ring, and Radon tells him that he is exactly right. He tells Liam that everyone knows that dragons love to hoard treasure, and that treasure includes ancient and forbidden magic spells. He says that this place was once his nest, and there are many ancient spells hidden here, and the stronger Liam grows, the more levels he can unlock to find more of them. Liam is thrilled on learning this, and he immediately downloads a spell from the room into his ring. When he casts the spell, white translucent bubbles appear in front of him, and they burst as soon as he touches them while absorbing his magic power. Liam does some experiments and finds that these bubbles cancel out any magic spell, which is a way to prevent anyone from stealing the spells hidden in the room. Radon tells him that he needs to master this spell first before he can access other spells, and Liam starts attacking them with different methods. He finds that the bubbles are immune to physical damage, and they simply divide when they absorb a magic attack. He realizes that he needs to keep attacking the bubbles to master them, and to speed up the process, he summons his clone to help him. While the original Liam creates the bubbles, his clone keeps attacking them, and after a couple hours, he manages to clear the trial and access the spells in the room. The first spell he finds is the Absolute Force Shield, which can block one physical attack with 100% certainty, even if it is the most powerful attack in the world, but it shatters after that. Liam summons multiple clones to help him practice the spell to increase the number of shields and decrease the casting time. He realizes that the skill needs a lot more work to be useful in actual battle, and thinks that he should work on improving his magic capacity first. Radon agrees with him, saying that once he increases his magic capacity a bit, he should enter the second floor of the nest to obtain the absolute magic shield that can block one magic attack. Liam suddenly gets an idea, and he tells Radon that he doesn't need to enter the second floor to learn the new spell. He thinks that he can recreate that spell himself by modifying the Force Shield, and after a while of brainstorming, he alters the formula of the Force Shield to turn it into a magic shield. Radon is left stunned by his abilities, and he tells Liam that he is the first person in centuries to achieve the feat of creating an ancient spell like this. A couple days later, while Liam is minding his own business, Asuna comes running to him with a message from Guy, who wants to see him immediately. Liam teleports to Guy's location and finds some knights standing in front of the trolls. Guy approaches Liam and tells him that these people are from the kingdom of Palta, and they want to talk to him about an important matter. Just then, the leader of the knights comes forth and introduces himself as Blast. Liam asks him what is the important matter that he needs to discuss, and Blast tells him that the king of Palta wants him to marry his daughter Flora to maintain a good relationship with his country. Liam is taken aback on hearing this, and then Blast asks him about his engagement with Princess Scarlet of the Jamal Kingdom. Liam tells him that they are not going to be engaged this year because they still have a lot of work to do, and Blast sees this as a chance to get ahead. He tells Liam that their country won't delay the engagement at all, and for that, Princess Flora is here too. On his cue, the blue-haired princess comes out of her carriage, and Liam, the little pervert, is left speechless on seeing her. Blast tells him that if he wants he can leave Flora in his care right now, and Liam is shocked to hear how desperate this man is. He says that they should at least discuss a few basic things first, and invites them to his village. Blast gladly takes his offer, but then suddenly, Liam feels danger approaching. He quickly uses the absolute magic shield, and the very next moment, a powerful fire spell comes towards him. It creates a huge explosion, knocking out everyone in its range, but Liam manages to protect Princess Flora from any damage. He wonders what the hell was that, and Radon tells him that it was a suicide bomber spirit, which is an artificial monster created for its great destructive power. Radon adds that the monster was targeting Flora, and if Liam was even a second late, she would be cooked for real. Liam is shocked to hear this and asks who would do this, but then he looks around and finds that Blast is nowhere to be seen. He wonders if he was behind the attack, and Radon affirms, saying that he must have ordered it because nobles are sick and twisted and they can do anything to achieve their goals. Liam is really curious now, and he tells Guy to protect Flora and the soldiers if he wants, while he goes to find some answers. He teleports to Scarlet's palace and brings her with him to the site of the explosion, where Flora is still laying unconscious. Liam tells Scarlet about her, and she tells him that there is no princess named Flora in any neighboring country. That confuses Liam, and he explains the details about meeting a guy called Blast who claimed that Flora was a princess from Palta. Scarlet tells him that she has heard about Blast, who is the right-hand man of Palta's king, and he handles all his dirty work. When Liam tells her about the attack of the artificial spirit monster, Scarlet understands Blast's plan. She says that Palta wanted to send a fake princess to marry Liam, and as soon as she was in his country, she would be killed so that they could get an excuse to start a war. She then checks Flora and finds a mole on her chest, which makes her sure that she is a secret child of a high-ranking noble who is not officially recognized, but was sent here just to be a sacrifice. Soon, Flora wakes up and Liam, the shameless tells her that he is expecting thanks for saving her life. Flora panics on hearing that she is still alive, and she tells Liam to get away from her because she is dangerous for him. She shows him a curse mark on her hand, saying that even if he can protect her from external attacks, she is doomed to die anyway. She doesn't want to create any trouble for him after he saved her and asks him to leave her alone. Liam, however, grabs her hand and neutralizes her curse with holy magic. He then asks if she has any other trap on her body that he needs to take care of, and Flora still can't believe that he got rid of the curse. Scarlet proudly boasts about Liam being able to use holy magic that can erase all sorts of curses. Liam asks her if she knows what the curse was, and she tells him that it would turn her into a monster, and she would obey all the commands of the person who cast the curse. Radon suddenly realizes that a dark magic item was used on her, and he believes that it was the same thing that was used to create the Dracula so that he would attack their village. Liam grows furious on hearing that, but he decides to deal with Flora first. He tells her that since she has no place to go, she should stay with them, and promises that he won't let the Palta Kingdom harm her from now on. After that, Liam and Scarlet have a private chat, where she tells him that all the 3 neighboring countries in this region are looking down on him, and he needs to show off his power to shut them down. Liam asks if he needs to pick a fight with someone, but Scarlet has a better idea than that. She tells him that he needs to issue his own currency first and foremost. She shows him 3 versions of the silver coins used in her country, and says that the original version is the clearest, but when it is copied to be given out to the general public, it loses many details. Liam understands that she is telling him to create coins which have a uniform high level of detail even when they are for general distribution, which will show the other countries that he has superior technology. Liam likes the idea, and he immediately summons the fire and earth spirits to create his first batch of silver coins. Next, he decides to make copper coins, and Scarlet suggests him to add tin to copper and make bronze coins instead because that is cheaper. She suggests him to use 70% copper because it is harder to get details on the coins if the ratio is lower, but Liam surprises her by making coins with just 50% copper. Soon after that, Asuna and Jody go to a merchant guild in their city to show him the silver coins issued by Liam. The manager of the guild is stunned to hear that such high-quality coins are for general distribution, and when he sees the copper coins, he is left speechless because no one in the world can make such detailed coins with just 50% copper. The girls ask him what is the exchange rate of the coins, and he says that if they are all of the same quality, their value can be 3 times that of the currency of Jamal Kingdom. On the other hand, Liam gets a letter from his eldest brother Alb, who arrogantly asks him to come see him so that they can talk about his country. When Scarlet reads the letter, she becomes furious at Alb's audacity, and tells Liam that he doesn't need to respond to his letter because Alb is not the head of their family, and he doesn't even have any power or position. Liam accepts her suggestion, and instead of Alb, he invites his brother Bruno, whom he actually respects, to visit his country. Bruno is surprised to see how developed it is, and he formally requests Liam to let their family do business with his country. Liam gets taken aback on hearing this, but since Bruno is sincere about his request, he agrees to do business with him. Liam contacts Scarlet through telepathy and asks for her advice about the matter before sealing the deal, and she tells him that he should treat Bruno kindly when it comes to taxes and rules of business. On the other hand, she wants him to treat Alb strictly if he ever shows his face here, because he needs to show the world that he treats his friends nicely but doesn't let anyone mistreat him. Liam concludes the business deal with Bruno after that, and later, he goes to his pocket dimension. Radon tells him that while using currency to establish dominance is a smart move, it only works on smart people. He fears that dumb people will keep invading Liam's country, and he needs to train to fight them off. Liam begins to think how can he get better as a fighter because using magic has some limits. Radon tells him that he can use magic power to strengthen his body, but Liam doesn't understand how that is possible. Radon tells him to watch and learn, and then with a bright flash, he appears in front of Liam as a bratty lowly. Liam freaks out on seeing Radon like that, but the lowly dragon tells him to watch his body's magic flow. He strengthens the body by circulating magic through it and then effortlessly leaps around the room, and Liam understands what he should do now. He circulates his magic to his legs as well and then jumps high, but he can't maintain that form for long and comes crashing down. Radon is impressed because he was not expecting Liam to learn it so quickly, but he has a lot more to teach him. He creates the magic absorbing bubbles on Liam's head, hands and feet and tells him to fill them with different amounts of magic to improve his control. Liam fails to even fill the bubbles properly in the beginning, but he doesn't lose motivation and keeps training till he can easily move magic power around his body. Once he masters flowing the mana around his body, lowly Radon tells him it is time to level up the training. He enters Liam's body and then comes out instantly, adjusting something that is necessary for the second training. Radon then whips out a rope made of light from his palm and tells Liam that they are going to play tug of war with it. When told to pull the rope, Liam tries to do so, but the rope doesn't even move. Radon tells him that to move the rope, he needs to send mana to his hand. Liam immediately sends 10% mana to strengthen his hand, pulling the rope slightly, but then Radon does the same. Liam understands that the goal of this training is to figure out how much mana his enemy is using to strengthen themselves and adjust accordingly, and Radon tells him he is exactly right. He begins to focus intensely on Radon's mana flowing through the rope and adjusts his mana to match it equally. Suddenly, he finds Radon changing tactics and sending mana through the air instead of the rope to make it harder to detect. Liam finds it tough to keep up, but he manages to hold on till the end, and Radon declares that he passed the second round of training too. For the final round, the dragon lowly asks Liam to fire as many magic missiles as he can at once. Liam thinks that it would be his usual 19 missiles, but he fires 29 missiles instead, shocking himself by the sudden improvement because his mana capacity is still the same. Radon smiles smugly, explaining that by training his sense and mana control, he basically optimized his spells, and his efficiency has gone through the roof. Liam is really happy to hear that, and he realizes that he now has the skills to use his immense power properly. The next day, Liam holds a meeting with all his important underlings in Scarlet's mansion, and Rihanna tells him that they are running a bit short on salt and drinking water. Liam tells her that he will refill their stock, and that makes Asuna curious about how he gets them in the first place. Liam explains that he just sends his clone over to the sea and then uses the item box to separate salt from the water. The girls think that there should be a more efficient way of doing it, and since Liam is their king, he shouldn't be personally handling physical jobs like this. Liam says he will think about it, when Scarlet suddenly gets up from her seat and asks Radon if there are any saltwater lakes or similar places where they can mine salt near the Promised Land. Radon, who has completely adopted the lowly lifestyle now, tells her that there might be something to the southwest of the city because wild cattle and sheep often go there to graze. While everyone wonders how those two things are related, Scarlet knows that cattle and sheep love to lick rock salt more than the nobles in her country like licking the king's black hole. They decide to explore the area later and end the meeting with that. As they leave the room, Asuna tells Liam that it would be nice if they had an ocean in their kingdom, because then they would solve the salt problem once and for all. Scarlet joins the conversation and tells them that there used to be an ocean in this region a long time ago. But in the War of the Three Dragons, Radon threw a mountain at it and completely cut it off from the Promised Land. Liam is taken aback to hear the insane power scaling of the dragon inside him, and later, he asks the lowly Radon to lend him some power because he needs it to create an ocean in his territory. Radon refuses, telling him to work with what he has, so Liam does just that and creates a small saltwater lake with a beach to copy the ocean. He takes Asuna and Scarlet to the mini-ocean, explaining that it is connected to the real ocean through his item box, so it will never dry out. The girls get excited on hearing this, and then Asuna and Scarlet conspire together to get permission from Liam to swim in the pool. He doesn't have any problem with that, because that just means he gets to see all the girls in their swimsuits, trying to win his attention. They play around all day, and the next day, Liam drops Scarlet back home, where she gets a disturbing message about a drought in her mother's homeland. Liam tells her that if they just need water, he can provide it. Scarlet asks him if he is sure about it, and he tells her that doing this will help create a stronger relationship with her country, and it is his duty to help his neighbors. He refuses to charge for the water because he is not a greedy person who makes profit from people who are suffering, and Scarlet immediately leaves to inform her dad about the offer. In the meantime, Liam returns to his territory and puts the water spirits to work. While they fill barrels of drinkable water, Radon suddenly tells Liam that his good deeds might be useless in the end. Liam doesn't understand what that statement means, and Radon explains that people are stupid, and those in power are stupid and arrogant. She believes that they will be suspicious of his goodwill because he is helping them for free. That is exactly what happens, and Scarlet informs Liam that her dad refused to take his offer, saying that their country can handle this level of disaster on their own. Currently, they are sending relief packages to the places hit most severely by the drought, but they can't teleport as much water as Liam would be able to. Radon suddenly suggests that they can make it rain over the region to end the dry spell, and he gets curious about it. Radon tells him that among the highest level holy magic spells, there is a spell to control weather. Liam gets really excited to hear this, but he realizes that he is not ready for that yet. Also, if he tries to help the kingdom with magic without permission, they may get offended, so he is going to use a softer approach this time. Soon, Liam visits his brother Bruno with a plan. Since his brother is a low-ranking noble, and providing relief to disaster-struck regions is an accomplishment that can help nobles maintain their title, Liam wants Bruno to work with him. He explains that he will teleport water using the item box to the places where it is needed, and Bruno will officially distribute it. Bruno likes the plan, but he asks Liam to wait for a couple days till he can arrange the cost for water and transportation. Liam tells him not to bother with that and just share his Netflix password with him, because he is not doing this to earn a profit. While Bruno appreciates his plan, the king of Jamel Kingdom doesn't, and he sends some nobles to Liam's place to prepare for his marriage with Scarlet. Radon feels that the marriage preparations are just an excuse, and the king plans to keep an eye on him and make sure that he doesn't help the drought-stricken regions. Liam thinks that he can just send his clone to the regions so that he can teleport there later. But just then, Guy comes in and informs him that the people from Jamel are looking all around the place, saying that they are finding the perfect route for Scarlet to take during the wedding procession. Liam realizes that he can't even send his clone now, but he tells Guy to keep an eye on the people from the kingdom and make sure they don't do anything troublesome. In the meantime, he decides to change the appearance of his clone so that it doesn't get caught. He summons his clone and uses wind magic to give it a cool fade, but then realizes that this strange hairstyle will make him even more suspicious. He dismisses the clone, ties his hair up, and then summons another clone that comes out with his current look. Liam realizes that the clone copies his look when he summons it, and all the changes during the last summon are reset. That gives him a unique idea, and he uses the High Familiar Contract spell to genderbend his clone, turning him into a baddie that he will definitely bang once the drought situation is over. He names the clone Amelia and confirms that she can use magic just like him, before sending her off to take care of things in his place. A few weeks later, Liam's city is flourishing because of the tourists and merchants coming in from other kingdoms to visit it. After his successful trade with Bruno, he has started forming trade relationships with other merchants and nobles in the neighboring countries, but there are still some problems. The people sent by the Jamel Kingdom are stalking him clumsily in broad daylight to make sure that he doesn't go out of his way to help with the drought relief measures in their territory. Liam notices them easily and just sighs, realizing that he can only wait for his genderbend clone Amelia to do her job. He keeps moving around the city when two of his pet slimes approach him. They look dirty after bouncing on the dirt roads of the city, and that makes Liam decide that his next project would be to create proper roads. He immediately puts the trolls on work, asking them to gather huge rocks and break them down into gravel. He also summons some earth spirits to start digging the road so that he can fill them up. Lowly Radon asks him what method will he build to use the road, because there are 3 common methods used in this world. The most high-tech method uses a mineral called the burning soil, which acts pretty much like coal tar, and Liam gets excited thinking about creating it using magic. Soon, his spirits have finished digging a 1-meter deep pit in the road's location, and Radon tells Liam that this is overkill, because only the most important roads in the capital cities are dug this deep. She tells him to look around because everyone who is seeing him make such high-level roads is already flustered. Liam is a bit nervous because of that, but he continues with his original plan. The trolls fill the trench with gravel and put burning soil on it, which Liam melts using the fire spirits, creating a perfect road. After making the roads using this method all around the city, Liam decides to extend them and transform the roads connecting his city to other places. The work continues without any problem, and soon, the 2 slimes come to Liam with his lunch. As he bends down to pick up the lunch basket, he realizes that something is missing in his roads, and immediately calls the fire spirits to melt the top layer of the road. Next, he asks the earth spirits to slightly lift the center part of the road, giving it a little slope on either side. Radon doesn't understand why Liam is doing something so extra, and he shows her by pouring water on the road. Because of the slope, the water immediately flows outside. Liam then explains that the center of the road is the most used part, and eventually, it will get worn down and then water may pool there. By raising it, the water will flow outside and the road will not be damaged because of it. The next day, the trolls and the spirits continue paving the road according to Liam's instructions, and in the meantime, he decides to train by sleeping on a tightrope. That turns out to be much harder than he expected. Radon asks him what the hell is this new training method, and Liam replies that he needs to use magic to strengthen his body so that he can maintain his balance on a rope. He adds that if he can manage to maintain his balance like this and sleep, he will be able to train even while asleep, and that will make his magic casting much better. He continues to fall from the rope more times, but in the end, he learns how to balance himself properly. Radon tells him that since he can do this now, he must have noticed something new. Liam realizes that the lowly dragon is right, and he begins to wonder what is the difference. Radon tells him that the magic of a person is affected very subtly by the region they live in, and now that Liam has fine-tuned his balance, he might be able to figure that out. He decides to give it a try immediately and spreads his magic to scan the people in the city. He picks out the people with a unique magic signature, and all of them are spies sent after him. However, the shocking part is that all of the 3 countries around him have sent their spies to his city. Liam can't believe that it was not just the Jamel Kingdom that was keeping tabs on him, but Radon assures him that they don't know that he knows about them. Liam is nervous, but then Radon suggests him to display his power to tell the spies to know their place. He begins thinking seriously about it, and pays Scarlet a visit the next day. He asks her about the military strength of the 3 kingdoms, and she tells him that Jamel and Palta have a total of 40,000 soldiers each, while Quistador has 50,000 soldiers in its army. Liam doesn't have to be good at math to know that it means that the 3 kingdoms have over 100,000 soldiers, while his country only has around 10,000 people including the civilians. He thinks that they are no match for the enemies right now, even with the magic armors he has created. He decides that he will try his best to avoid any sort of war right now, and Scarlet tells him to count on her when it comes to diplomacy. Liam then returns to his city, and begins thinking that maybe the other nations on the continent have sent spies to keep an eye on him as well. He decides to check for their presence using his skills, but as he spreads his magic power as far as he can, he senses something unusual. He immediately teleports to the location where he got the odd signal from, and asks his subordinates to stop working on the road. He then summons the earth spirits to dig deep, and they soon find what he sensed. Liam jumps down in the deep pit and finds solid chunks of high mithril, which is incredibly rare. He realizes that there is a whole mine of mithril around this area, and using it, he can create magic armor for everyone in his country and still have some to spare. He finally realizes how to keep the other nations in check, and teleports outside, where Scarlet is waiting for the news. Liam tells her to announce to everyone that he has found a mithril mine which will allow him to give magic armor to everyone in his country, and she immediately agrees. Soon after that, Liam stops the road project completely and brings more of his people to mine the mithril. Rihanna checks the amount of the rare mineral they have and says that it will be enough to create thousands of magic armors. With the help of the spirits, Liam refines them into mithril bars and begins daydreaming about how rich he would get if he sells them. However, he is also a bit upset that he can't keep working on the road. Rihanna also feels helpless because the elves haven't been contributing to the recent projects. She tells Liam that after making a contract with him, some elves have awakened their magic powers, but they need magic books to learn spells. Liam begins thinking of ways to provide magic books to everyone, when he realizes that his ring is an encyclopedia with thousands of magic spells, and it is made from mithril itself. He realizes that he can make rings for everyone to learn and store new spells, but then realizes that it would not be too efficient. Instead, he thinks that he should create underground rooms like those in the ruins so that multiple people can use them to learn the same spell. Rihanna gets worried after seeing him talk to himself for the last few minutes, but then Liam asks her if she can use magic. She tells him that she can use ice magic, so he decides to try his theory on her. He teleports themselves to the city, and using the help of the spirits, he puts a thin layer of mithril under the surface of the road. He then casts a magic spell on it, and then asks Rihanna to stand on top of the road. As soon as she does that, she feels the spells stored in the mithril plate flowing into her brain, and she is suddenly able to shoot a low-level ice attack. She is really excited by this, and Liam explains that the mithril sheet under the road is a magic storage device, and since it is in an open area, everyone can learn magic freely without worrying about the space. That gives him the idea of repaving the entire city road network again to turn it into a giant magic storage device. Soon, Liam completes his objectives, turning the road into a free library of magic spells. Everyone with a talent for magic can use them to fire off magic attacks now, and Rihanna calls this Liam's masterstroke because now even the civilians can defend the city if it is ever under an attack. Liam tells her that he has another huge feature installed in the roads and asks her to stand on the road and use the telephone spell. Rihanna has never even heard of that before, but as she gets on the road and uses the telephone spell, a small magic device appears in her hand, allowing her to call her friend in a different part of the city. She gets thrilled about this and tells Liam that he has made a magic city which is unlike any other place in the world. Later, Liam teaches Flora to use light magic because after entering a familiar contract with him, she is also able to use magic. She is really impressed because she didn't think she had any talent for magic in her, but Liam tells her that this is just a basic level spell. He then explains his plan to lay mithril sheets under the entire road network of his city and come up with new plans to draw water from wells and light ovens. Flora feels that using a rare resource like mithril just to make the lives of the common people easy is wasteful, but Liam doesn't agree with this classist. He tells her that if he can create spells that reduce the time spent on their chores, his people can do things they really want and become happy. Flora starts sucking up to him, saying that he is a really wonderful king who cares about his people when Liam gets a call from Guy. Guy informs him that a group of dragon riding knights from Quistador want to meet him, but Liam has no idea about them. Flora tells him that the Dragon Knights of Quistador are really famous for their skills and the loyalty of their dragons. Liam is curious now, and he immediately teleports to the location where the Dragon Knights are waiting for him. He eagerly approaches them, but then the dragons start panicking. Everyone gets confused about what is happening, but the Dragon Knights quickly figure out that their dragons are afraid of Liam. He doesn't get why they would be scared of him, but then lowly Radon decides to explain that weak beasts are always afraid of someone incredibly stronger than them. Liam finally understands the reason, and then the captain of the Dragon Knights, Sheila, approaches him to greet him. She arrogantly introduces herself as the 19th princess of Quistador, and Liam gets stunned on realizing how weak her father's pull-out game was. Sheila cuts to the chase immediately, challenging Liam to a duel. He gets confused and asks her why should they fight when they just met, and Sheila tells him that the best way for two people to know each other is Netflix and chill, but she doesn't plan to do that yet, so she will choose the second best way, which is exchanging blows. Liam still doesn't want to fight, but Sheila tells him that he can prove worthy of being allies with Quistador only if he impresses her. That offer is tempting enough for Liam, because right now, his relationship with the three neighboring countries are not really great and he needs at least one of them on his side. He agrees to the duel, and they immediately start fighting. Sheila moves like the Flash, disappearing before Liam's eyes, and he immediately creates absolute force shields and absolute magic shields to protect himself from any kind of attacks. Sheila tries hitting him with physical blows first, but the force shields cancel them out. She then shoots some fireballs at Liam, but the magic shields block them. Sheila then vanishes again, and Liam can't figure out if she is using invisibility or super speed. Suddenly, Radon warns him to dodge, and Liam does that just as Sheila's magic sword is about to hit him. She begins moving at super speed again, but Liam creates a little fog around him that allows her to track her movement precisely. Sheila loses her confidence as her super speed becomes useless, and she asks Liam how is he tracking her. He tells her that he can't notice her using his senses, so he spreads some magic fog around him, and he can know where she is by the disturbances in the fog. Sheila is impressed by his cleverness, and she decides to end the duel because she has seen how skilled he is. She tells Liam that they should have a nice relaxed chat now, and he immediately teleports her to his mansion. Sheila is dumbfounded because she didn't know teleportation was even possible, but Liam tells her that it is one of Radon's spells. They go inside, where Liam wonders if Sheila is going to offer a political marriage in order to form an alliance with his kingdom just like Jamal and Palta. However, she says that they only have one main condition, which is to sign a military non-aggression pact. Liam finds it hard to believe and begins thinking that Sheila has an ulterior motive, but she tells him that in her country, there is a saying that they should never attack the Dragon Crown, which is Radon. Liam is curious now, and Sheila says that long ago, their kingdom was almost destroyed because something happened between them and Radon. That is why she came here personally to verify that Liam has the power of the Great Dragon and do whatever is necessary to form an alliance. After taking some advice from Radon, Liam agrees to form an alliance with Quistador, and Sheila starts sweating as she relaxes after the handshake. Liam realizes that she must have been scared while dealing with him since he had Radon's power. After that, Sheila asks him the name of his kingdom, and before Liam can answer, Radon comes out in his dragon form and says that their kingdom is called Liam Radon. Sheila begins vibrating like a Nokia 3310 on seeing the divine dragon in front of her, and even when Radon returns inside Liam, she is still shaken. She still discusses the details of the alliance, and as it turns dark, Liam decides to show her to her room. Once they get out of his mansion, Sheila is astonished to see lights coming from all the houses, and Liam explains that he created a system using which magic can be freely used inside all the buildings of his city. Sheila finds it hard to believe, so she decides to see it up close, and her wonder increases even further as she learns that Liam has also created spells for water and fire in addition to light magic. Sheila is thoroughly impressed by Liam's magic city. He tells her that it is because of the mithril mine he found, and she becomes even more intimidated by his strength. She then asks if they have a lot of magic stones too, but Liam doesn't even know what that is. Sheila finally finds a way to act confident again, and explains that magic stones are formed by the concentration of the excess magic power that is released during casting a spell. Liam tries figuring out how that works and uses the light spell, but Sheila is shocked because he didn't waste any mana. Liam tells her that Radon has trained him to be 100% efficient, and Sheila freaks out because that is not even possible for humans. After that, Liam drops Sheila at her hotel and then starts asking Radon about the magic stones. Radon tells him to cast a spell inefficiently on purpose, and Liam casts a spell with 0% efficiency. The wasted mana turns into glowing dust that settles on the ground, and Radon tells him that this dust gets crystallized to form magic stones. Liam decides to see if some magic stones have already formed in the city using his detection skill, and he picks up faint signals throughout the city before finding a big mass. He immediately goes to its location and digs it out, but to his shock, Radon tells him that the magic stone is useless because it loses its power over time. However, that does not mean that it is not worth anything. Magic stones are normally only formed on battlefields where many spells are cast, and they are so rare that they sell for much more than a diamond. Liam is shocked to learn that, and he realizes that he can use the magic stones to fuel his country's economy. Soon, Liam calls his brother Bruno to talk business. He tells him about the magic infrastructure of the city that allows them to create magic stones regularly, and Bruno's head almost explodes trying to process it. However, when he hears that Liam wants to trade in the magic stones with his help, he gladly jumps on the deal. Liam shows him a magic stone he just dug out, and Bruno tells her that it is a young magic stone that is in demand with newlywed couples. He explains that young magic stones have wider strips that shrink as they grow older. The old magic stones are even more rare and beautiful, so they can be 5 times as valuable as normal magic stones, but they also need to be hundreds of years old to reach that state. That is no problem for Liam, and he summons his dust box to quickly age the magic stone. 3 weeks in the dust box age the magic stone by 500 years, turning it into a small and unique gemstone. Liam is impressed by the stone, and he places it inside his item box so that his female clone, who is a part of a delegation sent to Quistador, can take it out on the other side. The female clone presents the magic stone to the king as a gift to celebrate their alliance, and the king is left speechless on seeing the 500-year-old magic stone. Soon, the delegation returns to the city, and Rihanna tells Liam that the king and the queen were stumped on seeing the magic stone. They sent a lot of gifts in return as well, and Sheila is going to pay them a visit again to advise Liam about his foreign policy. As time passes, Liam's kingdom begins to prosper with his underlings taking care of all the complicated stuff. They encourage him to follow the path he wants to, and for Liam, that means learning new spells from Radon. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing and watch the video on your screen next.